Welcome to Frickety Frack, we do talk back. Thank you for joining me in this episode. My name is Patrick, and I'm Frack. Frickety Frack, we do talk back is a show where I discuss different aspects of fandom like comics, anime, manga, Star Wars, etc., and how they relate to the gospel. I'll be going through an episode of Demon Slayer and connected to teachings from the Bible. I'll go through the show one episode at a time, and hopefully we'll enjoy the journey together because I've never watched this anime before. And so I'm excited to experience this with you in this time. So the name of the show comes from my dad, who dubbed my brother and me Frick and Frack since we were kids. Alright, so we're going to be going over the episode of Trainer Sakonji Urokodaki. And so in this episode we get Tanjiro and Nezuko coming together to find a temple has been attacked by a demon, and the two of them fight the demon together. And in this, eventually Tanjiro and Nezuko separate the head from the body. They fight the two different aspects of it, and Tanjiro ends up pinning the head against a tree, and then that's where Sakonji shows up. And he says, that knife isn't going to do the job. And he's like, you got to be quick about this. And so he was so slow in making a decision that the demon ends up just being disintegrated by the sun. And during all of this, Sakonji says, you've got to be quicker in your decision making if you want to make it into the Demon Slayer Corps. But Tanjiro was already showing quite a bit of aptitude in his ability to be a demon slayer as well. And because he was able to use the hatchet properly, and everything that was going well with that. And the other is Nezuko, once again displaying really great willpower. Like, she was surrounded by all that blood, yet her desire to protect her brother overrid any of that the demon within her to consume that blood. And so between the two of them, they're able to defeat that demon. And it's just really impressive that she's able to do that. The other thing that I love is that, Sakonji, points out that Tanjiro has empathy for the demons. And I think that's just really fascinating that even in what's going on and things that, he's able to, when he's wanting to kill the demon, but he's also like, how do I do it quickly? How do I do it without any pain? How do I, my knife's not good enough. Okay, I can use the rock, but that means I'm going to have to bash his head in, and that's going to cause him a lot of pain. How can I do this in just one swift strike? And so instead, what ends up happening is he gets disintegrated by the sun. And, Tanjiro cares. He wants to get rid of the demon, but he also wants to do it without causing as little pain as possible. So those are the points and then you gotta love training and tests, and we're seeing the glimpses of Tanjiro's nose being extremely helpful, and I do know a little bit about Demon Slayer and the breathing part of all of this, and so that he's getting used to the breathing aspect, and so we're showing the glimpses of that. So those are the things I found interesting in this episode. And so the biblical theme comes from Romans chapter 12 verse 11. This is what it says: do not be slothful in zeal, be fervent in spirit, serve the Lord. And so I chose this verse because of Tanjiro's hesitation in how he would deal with the demon that he captured at the temple. Now, this also shows Tanjiro's empathy, which I think is a great characteristic to have. Now, Tanjiro is very similar to Midoriya from My Hero Academia. Midoriya, his main goal is to save as many people as possible as a hero. And so Tanjiro is very similar, that he feels empathy for these demons because he knows he has a little bit of understanding of what his sister's going through, and and doesn't want to draw things out with these demons. But for him to get into the Demon Slayer Corps, he has to show decision making, and it'll have to come quicker and more decisively, as Sakonji puts it. As Christians, we should in fact have zeal for what we do. Like, the Demon Slayer Corps, they have to be precise and things like that. And so for us as Christians, we have a similar mission where we are called to share the gospel with those who do not know the gospel. And we have to find our way in how we do that, and do that to the best of our ability. So I want to encourage you that each Christian, that they find their zeal for the Lord and share it with others. Because when we are wanting to share the gospel, that leads to more people knowing who Christ is, knowing that they're loved by the Son of God, that God gave his Son for each person. And so I would just want to encourage those who are hesitant about sharing the gospel with others to take the time to share it with those around you. You might not do it with your words, but do it by your actions. And so I want to encourage you in that time. All right, so how would I rate this episode? Well, I'm going to give it a 5. And the reason why it's a 5 is because the animation keeps being top-notch, the voice acting's great, and we keep getting the next step of the story while also keeping us engaged. And the action was great, and I loved the part where the head was wrapped up in the hatchet, and he throws it and pins the head of the demon against the tree. So I just want to encourage you in that, I love that part, and I'm really interested to know more about Sakonji and what he's going to be able to bring for Tanjiro. So it was just a fantastic episode. So for me, having now watched 2 episodes, I would encourage anyone who has watched the first episode and kind of stopped there. I would say be able to watch the first 2 episodes for sure, to kind of get an idea of the world and also an idea where things are going to be going. And I'm just really excited about that. So for me, this is a perfect 5 episode. It's great. So I want to encourage everyone to watch this episode. It's great, as long as you're able to handle the violence and the blood and things like that. And so if anyone with questions for me about the biblical lesson that I talked about in this episode, or any other discussion ranging from anime, comics, or anything in general, feel free to email me at frickityfracktalkback@gmail.com, or reach out to me on Twitter at frickityf or at frickityfrack on Instagram and Facebook. So please rate, review, and subscribe. Leave a comment below in the comments below. So remember that I love you, most importantly that God loves you, and don't ever give up.